domestic economy. For their part, the pirates' wives had given her a generous welcome, and had been only too happy to discuss with her their housekeeping issues. Domenica had been taught how to cook the dishes local to that part of the country, and over the months that she spent there she had developed a taste for the coconut curries dominating pirate cuisine. At the end of her stay, of course, she had made a discovery that somewhat overshadowed the entire project. That had come about one morning when, out of curiosity, she had slipped a small boat off a mooring and discreetly followed the pirates as they set off to work in their larger vessels. She had followed them round the headland that marked the end of the river mouth, and then, straining her small outboard engine to keep up, she trailed them into another river system a few miles up the coast. There all was revealed. The pirates, it transpired, were employed in a pirate CD and DVD factory, and it was to this plant that they travelled each morning and from which they returned early every evening. That discovery had been slightly disappointing to Domenica, but it didn't compromise any of the data she'd assembled on domestic economy issues, and formed no more than a footnote in the paper she later published on the subject. When she left the Malacca Straits to return to Scotland, she was given an emotional send-off by the pirates' wives, whom she'd taught how to make shortbread and clouty puddings. She was still in touch with them years later, sending them a copy of the Scotsman calendar each December and a gift subscription to the Scots magazine, which they assured her they so enjoyed reading. On her 50th birthday, Domenica decided that there would be no more research trips in the field, or rather that the field could be visited provided that it was local. Her scholarly time was now largely spent on freelance editing for a number of anthropological journals, occasional lectures, and work on a project that she had long nurtured, a study of the networks and customs of Watsonians, the graduates of George Watson's College, who played an important part in Edinburgh life and whose influence extended into the furthest reaches of the capital city. This research was different from that which she conducted on the crocodile people of New Guinea, but it had risks of its own. It was also a project that would require far more time to be completed. Domenica was thinking of years rather than months, as access was an issue, and the layers of association and meaning in Watsonian affairs required a great deal of semiotic analysis. But there she was, standing at her window overlooking Scotland Street, lowering her Carl Zeiss binoculars and turning to her husband, Angus Lordie, who was seated at the other end of the kitchen, his dog and familiar Cyril at his feet. Angus, a portrait painter, was wearing his studio clothes, a paint-spattered jacket that Domenica wished he would throw away, a shirt of faded tartan material, and a pair of trousers that was slightly too large for him and that was kept from falling down by an improvised belt, a tie threaded through its loops. This tie was that of Glenalmond College, a school tucked away in Perthshire, where Angus had been all those years ago a moderately unhappy boarder and member of the school pipe band. Whenever he heard Mist-Covered Mountains, that most haunting of pipe tunes, he saw Glenalmond under soft veils of rain. He saw his friend playing the pipes beside him in the ranks of the band, and they smiled at one another, because that friendship had been such a profound one, and we must keep alive the happiness we experience before the world closes in on us. Chapter 2. Épater la bourgeoisie. Domenica said to Angus, "Nothing yet. They're certainly taking their time." Angus laughed. "Patience is required of the curtain twitcher. It's like fishing, I think. You have to be patient." Domenica defended herself. No anthropologist could ever be a curtain twitcher. "I am not that at all," she said. "For a start, we have no curtains, on this particular window at least. Curtain twitchers operate behind lace curtains, and their motives—" Angus waited. "Yes, their motives? Curiosity?" "Idle curiosity," Domenica corrected him.